Tonight at 10, missing in Mexico. A Utahn pleads for help after her mother disappears while visiting a man in Cabo San Lucas.
Plus, an identity theft ring busted. A Good for Utah exclusive investigation helps police put a man behind bars. But it appears the two victims we found were just the tip of the iceberg.
But first, a sales tax jump. A tax increase you'll vote on this November and the impact it could have on your wallet.
Live from Utah's first TV station, ABC4 Utah. News at 10 starts now.
Good evening and thanks for watching the news at 10. I'm Kim Fisher.
And I'm Don Hudson. Good to be with you tonight. We begin with a question. Are you ready to pay more in sales tax? It could happen in Salt Lake County. The county council just voted to place a proposed 0.25% tax hike on the November ballot. Now, it would jump the county sales tax from actually 6.85 to 7.1%. So where would that extra money go? How will it impact you? Kimberly Nelson joined us now live in the newsroom to break it all down. Kimberly?
Well, Don, the Salt Lake County Council actually went against their own ordinance and voted 7-2 to put a sales tax question on a non-presidential election year ballot. Now, that means this November, Salt Lake County residents are going to be asked if they want their sales tax increased to pay for road repairs and transportation expansion.
The decision was made even before public comment began.
I find it offensive that I'm being asked to be more frugal with my funds so that UTA does not have to be.
For a family of 4, that's $200 per year per family.
We would much rather see this placed as some type of user fee and not on a general sales tax.
Despite the objections, the council decided in a 7-2 vote that the sales tax question will appear on the November ballot in Salt Lake County. A move that the council chairman opposed, he says, in the interest of fairness and transparency.
Since it's a tax that affects 100% of taxpayers, let's put it on an election year in which it has the highest voter turnout for the greatest number of people to weigh in on whether or not they want to burden themselves with increased tax burden.
The proposed sales tax increase would fund local roads, and about 40% of the funding would go to the UTA. That adds up to about $37 million a year, a 13% increase to UTA's overall budget. So what would you get for all that money?
More frequency, buses would come more often. We would run them later into the evening. We'd double our bus service on the weekends, so make it easier for people who work unconventional jobs to connect with the system.
On top of increasing frequency of service on the buses, adding more bus routes that run later into the evenings and on weekends, UTA says they also plan on tripling the amount of bus shelters they have, as well as looking at ways to increase ride sharing. Reporting live in the newsroom, Kimberly Nelson, Good for Utah.
So, what do you think about this proposed sales tax increase? Would you support it? Would you be willing to vote against it this November? Let us know online at goodforutah.com or visit the ABC4 Utah Facebook page or Twitter pages to weigh in. Your comment, by the way, may be used in a later show.
New at 10, a Utah mother has gone missing in Mexico. This is Sandy Trevino. Her daughter tells us the 50-year-old Salt Lake City woman was in Cabo San Lucas and last seen with Ruben Mendoza Vaca. Sandy's daughter says Vaca assaulted and kidnapped her mom for 3 days before she was able to escape on July 31st. The next day, she told her family she was coming back to the U.S., but she hasn't been heard from since. So here's another picture of Sandy Trevino. She's 5 foot 2 inches tall, has long black hair, and a butterfly tattoo on her hip. Now, she was last seen driving a maroon 2002 GMC Sierra truck with a Utah license plate 834 WEF. If you know anything, call police. The group deciding where the Utah State Prison will end up will make a final vote very soon. The Prison Relocation Commission is planning that meeting on August 11th. A total of 4 sites are still being considered, 2 in Utah County, 1 in Salt Lake County, and 1 in Tooele County. Now, once a site is chosen, the governor will meet with the legislature to approve or reject the site.
Well, he's accused of choking a 2-year-old boy, and tonight that man is sitting in jail. Layton police say Zachary Brown, you see him there, allegedly choked his girlfriend's young son on Friday. Brown was living with the boy's mother at the time. The child was taken to the hospital. Police say doesn't appear to be really hurt too badly. Police feel that the child's mother walking in prevented the boy from being hurt further.
I found him holding my child by the neck with tissue shoved in his mouth and a towel wrapped around him with a shirt over it.
He told her was that he did not intend to hurt the child, They were just playing, and he was not trying to hurt the child, which sounds pretty outrageous.
You know, Brown was arrested today in Woods Cross, taken to the Davis County Jail. Have you recently had your car broken into? Well, police would like to hear from you if that's the case. Here's why. Police say 24-year-old Casey Fallon has been stealing and vandalizing cars in Holiday and Cottonwood Heights. He was arrested Monday, told police he was breaking into cars to support his drug habit. Police found quite a bit of property when they arrested Fallon, so now they're trying to find who owns and belongs to that property. So if your car was vandalized this past weekend in Holiday or Cottonwood Heights, give police a call.
The Open Spaces Initiative is back in front of the Salt Lake City Council tonight. City leaders are deciding if a bond could make the outdoors a little more useful for everyone. The public would then vote on that bond in November. Good for Utah's Jason Wynn was at the meeting and has more.
Salt Lake City Council members came out with two things for the Open Space Initiative work session. One, they know how much everything's going to cost, and two, they know what citizens want with the new survey. 10,000 residents are voicing their opinion on Salt Lake City. Y2 Analytics gave that info to council today. 81% of people think the city is headed in the right direction.
People are happy, but when we looked at information through our other polls, they're happy, but they want to see more.
If the mayor's first Connecting You to Nature plan goes through, taxpayers would pay $150 million. Council tried to whittle that number down, making the bond $140 million under the new proposal. The mayor also had a second plan. That had a price tag of $120 million. The new proposal would bring that down to $116 million.
I think $150 million is too much. I would like it pared down to $100 million at the maximum, and I think a lot of that needs to be for capital improvement projects that we've been sitting on.
District 7's Lisa Adams says the whole process has been rushed, and if council had to vote today, she'd vote the bond down.
And that's why I would like to take more time to find out how the public really feels. Even though they're happy, could they be happier? Would it be better?
Salt Lake City Council members still want to hear from you, and you have until August 18th to talk to them about the Open Space Initiative. We put all that information for you on goodforutah.com. I'm Jason Wynn in Salt Lake City. Good for Utah.
The council will have 3 options on August 18th. They can adopt the mayor's plan, pick and choose concepts for their individual districts, or vote the bond down. Well, it was quite a bit warmer, but still a really nice day to maybe go out and relax in a park in Salt Lake.
But more rain, what I'm hearing anyway, could be coming. And Dan Bope, our chief meteorologist, joins us now live tonight from the Pinpoint Weather Reports for the first forecast. Dan?
Don, the first weather disturbance will be arriving tomorrow. It's a little one, but it has tapped tropical moisture from a hurricane, an old hurricane that's edging towards the Hawaiian Islands called Guillermo. And there's also moisture that will be rolling in here on Friday. That's the bigger push of monsoon. We'll talk about that more in your 7-day forecast in a little bit. Let's look at the latest radar. Still some active thunderstorms popping up across southern portions of Idaho. Yes, there are some yellows and reds there cropping up over the I-84 corridor. And some of those showers and thunderstorms were actually quite active today. We'll look for more of that coming up. Now, precipitation amounts over the last 24 to 36 hours were pretty heavy. Today we had a little bit of rain, but not much accumulation. Temperature right now is 79 degrees, 88 in St. George. As we approach the weekend, we're talking about temperatures on a roller coaster ride. And yes, more rain coming in, like I said. We'll talk about it in just a couple of minutes in your Pinpoint Weather Forecast.
All right, Dan, thank you. Salt Lake Police tonight are investigating a massive case of identity theft. It really stems from an ABC4 exclusive report recently identifying 2 victims. Now, Good for Utah's Randall Carlisle continues our investigation and explains those 2 victims are just a small percentage of the problem.
How big is identity theft? Take a look at this. This is allegedly 1 week's work by one alleged gang of identity thieves right here in Salt Lake.
Some of the credit cards and debit cards that we've obtained in the search warrant. This section right here is indicative of a lot of the mail stuff that we're seeing that's being stolen. Tax notices and people's insurance and bank statements.
Personal checks, business checks, credit card applications. The so-called crew they busted did all this in 1 week. There are hundreds of victims totaling tens of thousands of dollars. We recently told you about 2 victims, Tara and Scott. Both of them tracked down their identity thief, claiming it's 30-year-old Paul Angelo Valencia. He was arrested at a downtown hotel, and he's back in prison on a parole violation. Salt Lake Detective B. Bennett is building the case against Valencia, and it's really time-consuming.
We have to separate out the victims and contact people and find them to notify them that we have articles belonging to them.
And this is just one case. She and 5 other detectives in the Financial Crimes Unit are working on 500 cases. In fact, identity theft cases in Salt Lake have increased 200% in the past 2 years. And guess what the main motive is?
The majority of the people that I investigate tend to have narcotics issues.
At least 4 different departments, including the feds, are building a case against Valencia. It's a crime that costs all of us millions of dollars a year. Randall Carlisle, Good for Utah.
Now, police want us to actually pass on some tips to help you avoid having your identity stolen. First, they say send any important mail from inside the post office. Say never leave ID information or valuables in your car that can identify you. Check your credit report often, and if possible, just avoid using personal checks.
Images just released today are giving us a rare look at the seer stone. The small rock is what Joseph Smith said allowed him to translate the Book of Mormon, while the LDS Church is releasing these pictures and more.
Testing out some outdoor gear like this Strider bike indoors. That's coming up on ABC4 Utah News.
They're arriving in Salt Lake City by the thousands with millions of dollars in their pockets. We're talking about the manufacturers and merchants that are attending the Summer Outdoor Retailer Market. Got underway today, and Good for Utah's Rick Aaron explains what this trade show means for our economy.
The Outdoor Retailer Show means big bucks. These people here at the Outsiders Ball tonight at the Gallivan Center are just a few of the estimated 27,000 attendees in town spending their money on lodging, dining, and transportation. Of course, the state and local governments get their cut through taxes. According to an economic impact study released today, every person attending the Outdoor Retailer Summer Market will spend an average of $930 this week. Even small companies like Hong Kong-based Catalyst waterproof phone cases spend tens of thousands.
The spend is around $60,000 US. I think all in, maybe a bit more.
We're somewhere around $30,000 to $40,000 for the show, so it's not cheap, but we're here to do business. And sometimes it costs money to do business.
Add it all up, and it means about $25 million coming into Utah twice a year. Because of limited hotel space and some of Utah's public lands policies, Outdoor Retailer is considering different sites like Orlando, Chicago, Dallas, or Las Vegas in the future. But lots of people say those places would not be nearly as good a fit as Salt Lake City, where the show has been since the mid-90s.
I love Salt Lake. I think it's a wonderful meeting point for all of us around the country to come here. It's an outdoor community, right? We go outside, we test our products, we use the products. I think it's a very easy place for everyone to come to. I hope it stays.
The community of Salt Lake City are very outdoorsy and appreciate and enjoy being outside recreating, and so they're our people. So our brands and our retailers really relate to the community here and the people here and love coming year after year.
Kate tells me that a new contract with either Salt Lake City or one of the other cities is close to being finalized. The Outdoor Retailer Summer Market runs through Saturday, and it is closed to the public, but we will be showing you the hottest new outdoor gear on ABC4 Utah News and our website, goodforutah.com. In downtown, Rick Aaron, Good for Utah.
And Outdoor Retailer will return in the winter to showcase all of the cold weather products.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is releasing photos of the seer stone used by Joseph Smith. This is the stone here. Back in the 1820s, Smith, the LDS Church founder, said he used it to help translate the Book of Mormon. Right now, the LDS Church is working to release every document produced by Smith or his scribes. Today, church historians talked about the release of the stone and the printer's manuscripts from the Book of Mormon.
They're beautiful, and we hope that both images and discussion of this sacred object will add to the understanding of the translation of the Book of Mormon.
To learn more about the newly released Book of Mormon manuscripts, you can check out this story on our website. More information there at goodforutah.com.
Time now for Utah's most accurate forecast. Certified by Weather Rate 4 years in a row.
It's kind of crazy that we're talking about the temperatures we are right now in August.
Yep.
Just up and down.
It's a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
And the monsoon, it kind of comes and it goes.
Yes.
But it's good.
Yeah.
Well, we need the moisture.
It's bad if you have outside plants, okay? But it's good because it waters your lawn, and it also helps us to definitely get a bit of a start on the water season. We're definitely seeing those conditions that are ripe for ending this drought. Not quite yet. We're denting it. There's a little thunder shower that popped up over the Oakers briefly this evening. How about this photo by Keith Vaught? This is our picture line photo of the day. The sunset over the causeway at the Great Salt Lake. Isn't that incredible? Well, we have more of these photos to show you, and we'd love to show your photo. Send it to pics@good4utah. That's PICS at goodforutah.com. We had some moisture today flowing in from parts of the Pacific. Right out here is Guillermo. That is a tropical storm with 70-mile-per-hour winds heading north and east of Hawaii, but some of that moisture was pulled off and pushed into California. Some of the high clouds, the reason we had such a beautiful sunset, spilling off from Guillermo and bringing some rain showers and even a few thunder showers to parts of California. Now, they could use the rain. They are definitely dry in California. Precipitation would be a welcomed thing for the firefighters. Unfortunately, this kind of decreased a little bit in the afternoon. Didn't really amount to very much, and they certainly could use an inch or two of rain, but it didn't happen. In fact, if anything, we had some dry lightning. Some of that moisture spilled off into northern California, parts of northern Nevada, southern portions of Idaho. We had some strong, even some occasionally severe thunderstorms that moved through Malad and up towards I-84 and also across I-15 heading towards Lava Hot Springs. Today, right now, though, the temperature is not too bad. 79 degrees here in Salt Lake City. Wind is light from the southeast. Barometer holding steady at 29.96. Humidity still pretty high at 39%. Now, today, temperatures were quite warm. Quite a different day in the northern part of the state where we had that pocket of 60s and 70s for highs yesterday. Today it was in the 80s and 90s, and St. George managed 102 degrees. We're looking at hot weather for a couple of days. And like I said, a little bit of that tropical moisture. You saw that weather disturbance in California. That's going to move up through northern Nevada, just kind of across the northern third of Utah, and that's going to bring us a slight chance for some afternoon thunderstorms tomorrow. With some south wind blowing, looks like the temperature will actually be hotter tomorrow than it was today. Now, the average for today is 93. The record high, 106 degrees in 1994. That's hot. 92 today, not too bad, just a little under the average. Sunset now at 8:40 p.m. Pollen count, you know that rain yesterday? Yeah. That rain helped to bring the pollens to the ground. Mold is the only thing in the moderate category. Tomorrow's big race for the 2015 Tour of Utah. We start out on Antelope Island, then we're crossing up over the mountains and back around through the Ogden Valley and over towards Bountiful, where it will end. Over 6,000 feet of vertical in this race tomorrow. It's 109 miles long, and the forecast looking pretty good for all of the region. A slight chance for a thunderstorm late in the day, about 3 p.m., but 78 in the morning, 82 by midday, about halfway, and 89 degrees later on. Tomorrow's high and vernal 88, slight chance for those thunder showers in Elko and around Spring Creek and up towards Lamoille, Wells and Jackpot. Scattered showers crossing northern Utah into Logan, even up around Malad and Rock Springs. The Bridger Valley, vulnerable to some thunderstorms, as well as the Uinta Mountains, and even as far south as about Point of the Mountain. It looks like a pretty good chance we're going to see a few of those thunderstorms around tomorrow, but a better chance in southern Utah Friday. This is a really strong surge of tropical moisture, so we'll be in the low 100s, dropping to mid-90s on Friday, and then back to the 97, 98 degree range Saturday and Sunday. While it looks to me like we will have quite a nice start to the day tomorrow along the Wasatch Front, temperatures are going to start out mostly in the 60s and 70s, end up about 93. Isolated storms tomorrow, but on Friday and Saturday, a little more active. And this could be, again, a pretty widespread area of showers and storms, but it does cool down just a little bit for the weekend. Tomorrow's a 7 because of a slight chance for some thunderstorms. Not a bad day, though.
But a large chance of the roller coaster.
Up and down.
Keeps going.
He does it so well, though, by the way. It kind of reminds me of 80s pop music or something like that.
That's what David, or that's what Wes listens to.
As I said, he was having memories right there. He was
like 70s.
Road trip.
a long road trip.
Yes.
To Guatemala.
Oh, good luck
To
with
play a
that.
little soccer. RSL travels to another continent for a Champions League match. We'll tell you how they fared down in Guatemala. And the point guard of the future for the Utah Jazz has his future in question after suffering an injury. We've got the latest coming up next in sports.
Time now for ABC4 Utah Sports with Wesley Ruff.
Real Salt Lake made its longest road trip of the year tonight, traveling to Guatemala to open up CONCACAF Champions League play. Now, this match comes in the middle of a 4 games in 14-day stretch, so they may have been a little tired, but they were the better team tonight. RSL taking on Municipal. Second minute, watch the bottom right of your screen. Salt Lake with the ball, or Real with the ball. Belcourt trips Tony Beltran. That leads to a free kick. On the free kick, it's Javier Morales. The ball is deflected, and João Plata is there. Boom! Puts it in the net. It's 1-0 RSL just 2 minutes into that match. Take another look. Plata gets the ball with no defenders around him. He doesn't miss from that distance. That is his 4th goal in his last 4 games for Plata. RSL up 1-0. 42nd minute. Same score. Free kick from Municipal. Ruiz bends it, but Nick Raimondo with a great save. This was just awesome. They were up 1-0 at the half, and that held up. RSL wins at 1-0. A great win on the road for RSL. But bad news for the Utah Jazz and for Dante Exum. The second-year point guard suffered a knee injury today. He's headed back to Utah for further evaluation. Now, Exum was playing for the Australian national team in a game in Slovenia against the Slovenian national team when the injury occurred. Reports say he was treated on site, but he's coming back to Salt Lake so he can be evaluated by the Jazz medical staff. They're not saying how serious the injury is, but it looks like it might be an ACL. The knee was wrapped, and he was on crutches. Salt Lake Bees wrapped up a 4-game set against Sacramento tonight. And the Bees strike first in this one. Kyle Kubica with the line drive to center field. That drives in Ryan Jackson from second base. It's 1-0 Bees. And Salt Lake showing some defense in this one as well. Center field Jared Mitchell just lays out for the diving catch right there. But the Bees could not hold on to that lead. The River Cats got it going. Jarrett Parker smokes a line drive down the right field line. That brings in a couple of runs, and Sacramento went on to win it 6-3. The Bees open a series at home against Las Vegas starting tomorrow. And stage 2 of the Tour of Utah. Today's stage, a 100-mile ride from Tremonton to Ogden. Beautiful scenery. Much better weather today, too. But coming down that canyon, Brendan Canty takes a turn a little too wide here. Loses control. He almost goes over the edge, but fortunately fell in the sagebrush there because that could have been really bad. Coming down the stretch, a big sprint with a host of riders. Yuri Kokran with the in the blue helmet on the right side makes his move. He powers his way across the finish line to take the stage win. Close finish. He won it by just about a wheel over Robin Carpenter. Yesterday's stage 1 winner, Kil Rainen, took 4th, so he still holds the yellow jersey as the overall leader. Tomorrow's 3rd stage, a 109-mile ride from Antelope Island to Bountiful. And I think the riders might find some bugs in the air from Antelope Island.
One or two. A little smell, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. Can you imagine how gassed you are at that very last?
No, I can't. Those guys are incredible.
Yeah, because, you know, going past about 3 miles might be my limit.
We'll be right back.
A young woman in Salt Lake is likely not happy with her mom tonight. This after a video of her goes viral.
Think David after the dentist, but a little older and female. All she wanted was, let's see for yourself.
Seriously, I want to watch Harry Potter. Okay, which do you want me to do first? You want me to get you a Frosty or go home? Frosty.
Yeah. That's 18-year-old Josie Thorpe on her way home after a wisdom tooth operation in Salt Lake. She got emotional talking about the Frosty she so desperately wanted, and when she finally got it...
Does that just taste so good? Oh, yeah, man, I love Frosties. Oh, that's embarrassing.
She loves it. Apparently, she loves Taylor Swift, too.
Yeah.
I learned that from the video.
Yeah.
Josie's mom shot about 14 minutes of this video. It's hilarious. If you want to see all of it, go to goodforutah.com.
I would not be happy with my mom.
We are sorry for her, but you know, a Frosty, you gotta have a Frosty if you want
it. Oh man, it quenched her thirst.
Mr. Kimmel has a show, and it's coming up next.
Oh, give me a Frosty.